everybody, it's Aaran back from Screenstars, and I'm here once again to do another review for Geek Legion of Doom. And today I'm here to review the 2017 drama Just Say Goodbye. Now this is a film that is written by Layla O'Shea and it is directed by Matt Walting, and it stars Katerina Eichenberger and MacKenzie as Jesse and Sarah. Now, like I said, this is a 2017 drama, and this is quite a hard-hitting drama that has got an awful lot to say, and it is a drama that focuses heavily on teen suicide as a subject matter, which is a very, very serious and in-depth subject matter, especially these days. And it focuses on these two young characters, Jesse and Sarah, who are best friends. Now, Jesse had to deal with a tragedy when he was young, and this isn't a spoiler because it deals with it very, very early in the film, within the first 5 minutes. He loses his mother when he is 6 years old, and she takes her own life, and his dad spends the rest of his days mourning her, getting drunk, becoming a drunk, abusing his son, blaming his son. So he's had a very, very troubled upbringing. However, the one bright spark in his life is his best friend Sarah. However, it's his only friend as well, and he spends his days getting bullied at school. He has to save much of his lunch at school so he can take it home to feed his dad, who's not looking after himself. He's just drinking alcohol. So he's getting no respite at school, at home, and he decides that he's had enough and life isn't worth living anymore, and he confides this into his best friend Sarah, and he basically says to her, in a couple of weeks I'm going to take my own life. And the film focuses on this subject matter then, Sarah's desperation in trying to get him not to do this, trying to get him to see that life is worth living, but it seems like every corner that they go around and every corner that these characters go around, the pressure just keeps piling up. Things don't ever seem to get better for him, and he is actually quite placid and calm about his own decision. Now, does he go through with it? How does the film finish off? Well, you'll have to watch the film to figure that out for yourselves. Now then, what did I think of Just Say Goodbye? Wow, it's a pretty powerful film, this. It's pretty emotional. It's a pretty emotional and impactful film, and with some really raw and interesting performances by the two leads. Now, initially I was a bit taken aback because I thought the performances early on, within the first 10 or 15 minutes, were a little bit off. And I don't know if they filmed it in sequence or something, and maybe they were just finding the rhythm, you know, the chemistry, or it just seemed a little bit off. But as I continued to watch the film, I really settled into their performances, and I really enjoyed them. They were very raw performances by two very talented actors, I would say, who it almost felt like they were straight out of drama school. And this was one of the first meatiest projects they'd been given, and what a project, and what a subject matter. And I thought they both did an excellent job, and I was completely on board with both their performances. It's not an easy film to watch, this, I will say that much, but it taps all the right emotions where it should. When he explains to Sarah what he plans to do, and you actually feel anger because you think he's doing something really selfish, and especially telling her about it, and then you go through all these emotions, and then you feel her desperation trying to change his mind, and then you get frustration because he just seems too calm about it all. It taps into all these emotions as you're watching it, and I kept putting myself in the scenario. Well, what would I do if I was in this position and my best friend said this to me? How do you stop it? What do you do? And you actually realise she's actually quite powerless here. I do think there was a couple of instances in the film where she could have said more to the right or stroke wrong people. She chose not to, which I'm not sure I would have done, but you know, people do things differently. I do think there were some performances in the film that let it down ever so slightly, maybe from some of the other cast members, maybe not as in the forefront as the two main leads, but I don't think it detracts too much from the film. The school bully, for example, I thought I didn't buy his performance really. There was an opportunity there to make that quite a complex and layered character with his performance, and it was a bit one-dimensional. And the film desperately needed a soundtrack. There were some dramatic scenes in this film that really needed more impactful soundtrack, and it just wasn't there. There's almost no music in this film, and it really would have elevated the performances even more, I think. So I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. It's a really well made film with some impressive performances, but the subject matter is quite hard to digest. But I do think, especially with it just being Mental Health Week, it's one that I think you should consider watching, because it does tackle a very difficult subject. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and of course we shall see you next time on the channel.